You know I love you unconditionally, right? Hello everyone, my name is Zacharias, and this is Thank You Universe. So, lots of love, much love, unconditional love to all my friends and allies tuning in today. And that is what we're going to be talking about, is how to love ourselves unconditionally. Now, a lot of us need a lot of work on this because we have all these standards and conditions that we put on our love. But really, love isn't conditional. Love is infinite and it is abundant, and it doesn't have any reason other than it is what it is. It loves for the sake of loving. It doesn't love for conditions. It doesn't love for reasons. Real love is unconditional love. So now, a lot of us, we don't love ourselves unconditionally. We love ourselves very conditionally, and we say, okay, I'm only going to accept myself and love myself once I get the job that I want, once I look a certain way, once I have a certain physique, once I have a certain amount of friends, once I have a certain $ amount in my bank account. But that is not the way. We need to stop putting these conditions on our love for ourselves, because it's never going to happen. If you make a habit out of putting conditions on your love for yourself, you're always going to be going to the next condition, because when you finally get to that point, you're like, okay, I'm gonna love and accept myself and be happy once I get this job. You get to that point and you get to your job, and then you're like, hey, I told you I would love you now, self, but psych, we're moving on to the next goal, because I'll love you then. And you keep tricking yourself in this really messed up way. You're just constantly moving the goalposts. You're like, I'll love you when you do this, and then you do that, and then you don't love yourself. You move on to the next thing, and you're just like, just kidding, that was great and all, but I'd love you if you do this. And so, instead of putting conditions on your love for yourself, realize that you can love yourself now and appreciate the journey where you are, because you are a masterpiece and a work in progress at the same time. And you can learn to love yourself right in the here and now, because tomorrow's never gonna come. It's never gonna be that point when you're like, okay, literally everything in my life is together and perfect, so now I can love myself. It doesn't work that way, and in fact, you're gonna make your life harder. And by loving yourself now in this moment, you're going to raise your vibration, and you're going to attract more positive and loving experiences to yourself now. Because when we put that loving energy out there, we will receive it back in kind. What we put out into the universe is reflected back to us. And what we put into ourselves is reflected back to us. So it's the law of correspondence: as above, so below, as within, so without. When you love yourself, you will attract outside experiences that are also loving, because you are the microcosm within the macrocosm. You are the universe. You are just a smaller version of the universe, but you still are the universe. And so when you take your smaller microcosm and you put love into it, you're putting love into the whole universe and your universe, and you will get those loving experiences that reflect back to you. So a lot of times we can be really dependent on how other people value us and validate us to love ourselves. That's one of the biggest things that most people have. We're humans, we're social creatures, it happens, and society tells us that to be loved, we need other people to love us. We need to be in a relationship. We need to have a good job. We need to have all these friends that just think we are amazing. But if you're dependent on other people's validation and other people's esteem of you to have a good self-esteem, you're never going to be truly happy. When you constantly need other people to give you a pat on the back and reassure you, you don't have an internal source of love and an internal source of happiness, because you're dependent on other people, and so you'll never be truly happy, because it's a constant struggle. It's a constant fight to get that validation and love from other people. It's like, oh, my love tank is getting empty, I gotta fill it up, gotta go impress some people or make people love me by doing things for them. And also, that's really insincere and inauthentic. We should be our authentic selves and act and be in the world the way that we truly are, not because we need validation and love from other people. Because in a way, that's really fake if you are just being a certain way and putting on a certain front because you want to be accepted by people and have them validate you. And I know it's hard, and a lot of us have dealt with a lot of emotional turmoil, and we've had some traumas that make us feel like we need the approval of others, but we're just gonna say, fuck that, okay? Yeah, fuck it. No more needing the validation of others. We are our own internal source of love. You are good enough no matter what. Let that be your new golden rule. Let that be your mantra. Say, I am good enough. I am worthy of love no matter what. No matter what. So, at all times and always, no matter what you did, no matter what mistakes you made, no matter who broke up with you, no matter if you got fired, no matter what your bank account says, you love yourself no matter what. And you can start to build this internal strength and this internal self-love, and it is something that takes practice. We need to put it into our belief system and undo all of the woundings and conditions that we have put on ourselves. So, moment of vulnerability here. I came from a place of really not loving myself growing up, and I knew I needed to work on it, and I knew that I didn't love myself, or I didn't understand that I did love myself really once I got into my authentic self. But one of the things that really helped me, and maybe this will sound ridiculous to a lot of you, but it worked for me, is practicing telling myself I love myself, as if I were talking to another person. And so I would look in the mirror every day, even though at times I felt like this is total BS, I'm lying to myself, but I would look at myself in the mirror, eye contact with my reflection, and say, I love you. I love you. I love you. And I would do this every day, and for a long time I didn't have any progress with it, and I still kept on doing it because I felt that this mantra was what I needed and it would help me to love myself. And then one day it happened. I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, I love you. And I really meant it. And I was just like, oh my gosh, really? Me? You love me? Me? And it was so great, that moment when you realize you really do love yourself. And it's beautiful. And once you get there, you are your own source of love, and nothing can stop you because you don't need to do anything for anyone or be validated by anyone, because you are your own internal source of love. And you can always supply yourself with the love that you need, because you're like, man, I could use some love right now. And you're like, okay, me, here you go, all the love that you need. And when you love yourself, you can learn to shut off your internal critic, because a lot of us are constantly trash talking ourselves, and we need to monitor that internal dialogue. That's another big tool that you need to use, is your internal dialogue, because a lot of times it's like we have this person constantly trash talking us throughout our life, like, why did you do that? That was so stupid. Why did you say this? Oh God, you made eye contact with a person. What a freaking weirdo. Right? Like, we can be so highly critical and toxic to ourselves. And so we need to change that internal dialogue and catch ourselves and say, hey, me, you're not going to talk to me like that anymore. Because if a real person in real life were talking to you the same way that you talk to yourself, would you want to be around them? Heck no. If someone was always saying critical things about what you're doing, you would not want to be around them. And you might not want to be around yourself if you don't love yourself. But hey, it's you. So you need to work on your self-talk and work on loving self-talk. And if you say something mean to yourself, be like, I forgive you, but you're not going to talk about that and talk about me that way. So say something nice to yourself instead. If you make a mistake, be like, it's okay. You're good enough no matter what, remember? You don't have to prove anything to anyone. And one awesome way to shut off that internal critic and that internal dialogue is mindfulness meditation. Yes, back at it again with some mindfulness meditation, because it is one of the greatest tools we can use in life. We learn to quiet the mind and become at peace and at one with ourselves. And when that internal critic gets shut off and when all of the thoughts go away and we meld into the oneness, we can come upon that truth that life is beautiful and we are a beautiful experience, loving ourselves. And when we get deep down inside into our true essence, into our true self, we will realize that we are love, because that's what the universe is. The universe is love. That is our true vibration. And we learn to love ourselves because that is simply our state of being, and that is simply who we are. So we don't have to constantly be trash talking ourselves with this internal dialogue. We can learn to love ourselves no matter what. So remember your mantra: I am good enough no matter what. I am worthy of love no matter what. And just learn to be your best friend and learn to love yourself and not put conditions on loving yourself. Not saying, I'll love me when other people love me, and I'll love me when I achieve this certain thing, because that end goal, you're never gonna get there. So just learn the only moment is now, and in this moment, I love myself. So, thank you all so much for tuning in today. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to our channel if you want to hear me talking about love and other self-help tips some more. And as always, much love to my allies out there. I'll be seeing you all on the next video. Bye!